is wealth, and a healthy citizenry redounds to a progressive and happier nation. That is why our guest tonight is committed to ensuring the physical and mental well-being of our people. His mission is aligned with the principle of sa Bagong Pilipinas, bawat buhay ay mahalaga, that aims to revolutionize the health system and achieve universal health. Let us all welcome in person the Secretary of the Department of Health, Dr. Teodoro Ted Herbosa. Magandang gabi po and welcome to our show.
Magandang gabi, Angelique, at magandang gabi sa lahat ng mga nanonood. At salamat for taking me in.
And thank you for giving us time tonight. Alam niyo po, since you were appointed, I'm sure your work has changed. Now as Secretary, paano pa nagbago yan? Paano mas naging challenging yan, trabahong iyan?
Actually, Angelique, I was called by the President on June 5. June 5 of last year. At that time, I was planning my life for a retirement from public service, from 30 plus years of being a public doctor. And yun nga, I was called. So they say you never say no when the president asks you to. So I'm here now. Suddenly, my life turned talagang nagbago talaga. It's very different to be head of one of the largest agencies under the executive branch, which is the Department of Health. I'm running 87 hospitals, and then all the regions. And now, as you know, lumalaban kami sa mga measles outbreak, pertussis outbreak, plus I have to implement universal healthcare in the time after COVID. No? So very important yung naging appointment sa akin kasi it's a critical time in our healthcare development sa ating bansa.
Opo, so ang ganda nga po ng track record ninyo. Ang dami nyo ng pinagdaanan. Meron pang time na in charge din kayo sa, yung medical coordinator, coordinating for foreign medical aids coming from all over the world para po sa mga typhoon disasters.
Typhoon Haiyan. So that was my biggest task nung undersecretary ako, sometime in 2013 ba yung Typhoon Haiyan? I think it was 2013, November 2013. We had the biggest typhoon that ever hit landfall, and yung Typhoon Haiyan or Yolanda. And we had assistance from most of the world. And because of my experience in disaster medicine, the secretary On said, di ba disaster ka? So he put me as head of the 187 foreign medical teams that we had to deploy in different islands. Kasi 7 landfalls yun eh. From Samar to Leyte to Bantayan Island to Panay Island and all the way to Coron, El Nido. It hit 7 landfalls. So we had to distribute the aid to all the different areas. It was very, kumbaga sa career ko, akala ko it was the highlight of my career as a disaster doctor. Kasi nga, the biggest typhoon, managing all these hundreds of medical teams, I was done. I was able to do what I trained for many years. Parang sundalo na tinitrain and finally you're sent to war. So that was a very big responsibility.
When the President appointed you, ano po yung mandato niya sa inyo?
Very clear. No? I was very surprised when he called me. Very clear yung questions niya. Sabi niya sa akin, why are we up there as number 4 with the number of cases of TB, tuberculosis? Sabi niya. So yun, very clear yung directive niya. The second one was, why do we have plenty of cases of HIV? So yan yung mga directives niya. And then the other ones called yung mga ating childhood pregnancies. So yung mga young girls getting pregnant. So these were many of the questions he actually asked me that I should be solving. And then of course, he wanted yung mga specialty center, kasi di ba meron tayong heart center, kidney center, built by his father, lung center. He wanted that to be available also in all the regions of the Philippines para hindi na sila pupunta sa Manila to be able to get high-end yung top healthcare services. So, yun yung very clear mandates and of course, siyempre kailangan natin i-deliver yan.
Opo, and that needs a lot of money rin po and budget, ano?
Correct.
Yeah, to do all these things.
The good thing is this president has been giving the DOH the 3rd highest budget in the land with the help of the approval of the Congress, siyempre, and Senate. So, pangatlo ako, education is the highest, DPWH is 2nd, and rightfully now, the Department of Health is the 3rd highest budgeted executive branch agency. When you educate the Filipino people, that's an investment. When you take care of the health of the Filipino people, that's also an investment.
Yes, of course. Meron tayong tinatawag na Philippine Development Plan. Paano pumapasok dyan yung 8-point action agenda po?
Okay, so yung Philippine Development Plan looking for a country that's moving upwards towards high middle income. Kasi middle income na ang category natin eh. But ang kailangan natin is to develop our human capital. So healthcare, social services, education is a big part of that. And syempre, you cannot move to higher income level if the people are sick, if the people are unhealthy. So very important. And that's why yung 8-point action agenda na na-develop namin is really a translation of Universal Healthcare Act. That was the law passed in 2019 na hinahanap namin yung system of healthcare from womb to tomb, similar to what they have in the UK, in Scandinavian countries, in Germany, wherein alaga ka ng state. The state takes care of its citizens. Pag nagkasakit ka, hindi ka mamumulubi just because of the high cost of healthcare. Ang finalo kasi nating model for a long time was the American model. Kung may pera ka, sa private hospital ka. Kung wala kang pera, public hospital will take care of you. The problem is, we didn't build as many public hospitals. So ang nangyari dyan, we have 54% of the hospitals are private. Ang ginagamot lang doon, 20% of the population. Sila lang yung nakaka-afford dun sa mga mahal na hospital. Pero 80% nagpupunta dun sa public hospitals. Kaya pag nagpunta naman kayo sa public hospital, punong-puno. But luckily, we were able to pass the sin tax law where we tax tobacco and alcohol, additional taxation that is now pumped into healthcare. So in that law, 85% of the additional taxes from cigarettes were placed in health facilities. So since that time, nag-modernize tayo ng mga equipment sa mga hospitals. So ang problema naman doon, because nag-modernize na tayo ng mga ospital, napatayuan natin ng bagong ospital, bagong equipment, CT scan. In fact, some of our hospitals have better equipment na than private hospitals. Dinadagsa lalo kami ng mga tao. So hindi lang yung mahirap, yung middle class na medyo alanganin sa private, sa amin na rin pumupunta. So talagang napupuno at humahaba ang pila. Yun naman ang nangyayari ngayon. Nagagalit naman yung mga tao dahil pag pumunta ka sa public hospital, ang tagal-tagal bago ma-admit, bago ma-x-ray, bago ma-CT scan. Because may pila, may queue. So yun ang sinosolve natin na problema, yung access sa healthcare na affordable at mabilis at may kalidad.
Ano pa po yung mga long-term priorities ng inyong kagawaran?
So itong long-term priority natin talaga ay maganda ang access ng healthcare ng bawat Pilipino. Na ang Pilipino, bawat Pilipino, maramdam ang Department of Health, maramdam yung kalusugan. So the idea there is to increase life expectancy ng bawat Pilipino. Right now, ang ating life expectancy nasa 70 or 71. As we become richer, gumaganda ang health status ng general population. Diba? So, ang goal ko, umabot tayo man lang dun sa ganung. Na pag pinanganak ka, you are expected to live up to 85. At yung kung magkasakit ka, magagamot ka ng Estado, magagamot ka ng mga public hospitals. At hindi mo kailangan pumunta sa ibang bansa, sa ibang probinsya, sa Metro Manila, at dun sa sarili mong lugar, magkaroon. So, ang tawag namin dyan, Department of Health Modernization with Health Equity. So yung care na nakukuha ng mayayaman at ng mahihirap pareho lang. So hindi kagaya ngayon kung wala kang pera, baka hindi ka na makapagpa-opera. Pero dahil meron na tayong mga heart center, kidney center, at least kahit let's say teacher ka or sundalo ka, pwedeng magawa yung heart operation mo in a public hospital like heart center.
And speaking of illnesses, ano po ba yung mga tinatawag na top killer diseases ng ating bansa? Alamin po natin yan. Doc, sasagutin mo yan maya-mayang konti lamang sa pagbabalik ng In Person.
7 healthy habits para sa healthy Pilipinas. Sa mundong ginagalawan, pagandaan ng big one. Kamay, sakit, sa isip sa gawa. Leave nothing but footprints. Kalusugan ay unahin at mamanahin ng mamamayan. Ay healthy Pilipinas, malakas sa magandang bukas. Ang bawat Pilipino sa mundo, sa ulado ang pitong ito. Sa healthy habits, go na go. Para sa healthy Pilipinas.
very important ma-increase yung tinatawag na health literacy ng bawat Pilipino. My job is to strengthen the health system of the Philippines.
Saan mapapanood ang PTV?
Sa bawat sulok ng Pilipinas.
Reaching millions of Filipinos across the country through the power of terrestrial TV.
Abot na abot namin ang mga Pilipino para sa tapat na balita at impormasyon.
Dito'y Cordillera, kan Intero ang Luzon. Da kami, ti mapangnamnamaan.
Sa aton sa Visayas, wala kami mapugong sa pagpaabot sa unsang hitabo.
Dini sa saad ngayuta, Mindanao, PTV, pirmi maminaw para sa paghatod sa balita.
Broadcasting in Luzon, PTV4 Manila, PTV8 Cordillera, PTV4 Naga, and PTV4 Palawan. In the Visayas, PTV11 Cebu, PTV10 Dumaguete, PTV2 Guimaras, PTV8 Tacloban, and PTV12 Calbayog. And in the heart of Mindanao, PTV11 Davao City, PTV8 Cotabato, PTV7 Zamboanga, PTV11 Sibugay, PTV11 Pagadian, PTV48 Davao del Norte, and PTV8 Agusan del Sur. PTV Regional Network, buong katapatang naghahatid ng balitang maaasahan para sa inyong pambansang TV.
Okay, ito nga pong nabitin natin na tanong. Pagdating sa mga killer diseases, ano-ano na po ba yung mga nakakatakot at nakamamatay na sakit na yan?
So, number one sa mga nakakamatay, mga sakit sa puso. So, yung mga heart attack or ischemic heart disease. And ito ay dala ng tinatawag na non-communicable. May sakit na hypertension, may bara sa puso. Pangalawa, yung na-stroke, yung sa brain.
Yes,
so, barado naman yung ugat papunta sa brain. Ito rin ay isang non-communicable disease. Ang pangatlo dyan, yung cancer. Most of the common ones, lung cancer, breast cancer in women, at saka cervical cancer, colon cancer. Ito yung mga common sakit na kinamamatay ng Pilipino. Ang sumunod dyan sa cancer, yung mga diabetes at saka kidney diseases. Diabetic nephropathy, yung nandito yung nagda-dialysis dahil sa end-stage kidney disease. And then nandiyan din yung road injuries. Madami tayo ngayon, mga nakamotorsiklo. There are also young people dying because of head injury from the motorcycle crashes. Yes, the road crashes that happen on the road. And then the pneumonias, infectious diseases, nandiyan pa rin. TB, tuberculosis, nandiyan pa rin. Yung maternal deaths, yung mga namamatay dahil bleeding during pregnancy, nandiyan pa rin. So those are mga top diseases in our top 10. And doon tayo nakatutok talaga lahat, both non-communicable and communicable diseases.
Yes, pwede pong maiwasan. Yung lifestyle po ba natin mga Pilipino? Medyo ayan, mahilig tayo sa pagkain, ano po, sa sausawan, mga alat, bagong, etc.
Pundan nyo lang yon. Pangalan ko, TED, para madali tandaan. Tama ba yung kinakain mo? Nag-i-ehersisyo ka ba? May disiplina ka ba sa iyong katawan? But true enough, madami tayong mapiprevent talaga na sakit if magkaroon ng tinatawag naming health promotion and disease prevention. Yung health promotion, ito yung maintaining yourself to be healthy by eating right, exercising, and then yung avoiding yung mga habit-forming substances. And of course, yung disease prevention naman, ito yung mga pagbabakuna, yung mga anak, to prevent the vaccine preventable diseases. So, madami tayo niyan, binibili ng pamahalaan yung bakuna, and nagkaroon ng hesitancy dyan. Ewan ko ba, dahil sa social media, maraming anti-vaxxer. Pero ito, mga traditional bakuna sa polio, sa measles, na-eradicate natin ang polio dahil sa bakuna. Yung measles, malapit na sana, pero hindi. Rubella. Tapos ngayon, yung pertussis, nasa bakuna din yan, yung DPT at yung pentavalent. So, very important yung mga pagpapabakuna. May bakuna na rin tayo para sa cancer. Yung ating HPV or human papilloma virus na nagpe-prevent ng cervical cancer sa babae. At yung hepatitis B vaccine, yan nakaka-prevent yan ng pag-develop ng liver cancer. So, importante yun, no? Nagpapabakuna, disease health promotion, disease prevention, para yung lifestyle natin maging we live longer. Very important.
Kumusta yung ating information campaign to increase awareness and yung acceptability din po ng ating mga kababayan? Because like in the past, they got a bad deal. Like Deng Vaxia had a bad deal,
yes,
diba? And then of course, may mga lumalabas na information about the negative effects of the COVID
vaccine,
vaccines.
correct.
So ano po yung ginagawa po ng DOH to counter that?
So we have actually a very strong social media presence also. Kasi ang sabi ko sa team ko sa communications, kailangan i-combat natin yung mga false information and misinformation on social media. Kasi like for example, karamihan ng information, hindi totoo. So very important yan. And pinagahalo-halo nila. So the people are misinformed about the vaccines. Ang vaccines is probably in public health, the most important activity na pinakamaganda ay immunization or vaccination. Kasi nga, ang daming buhay na na-save niyan. Now, ang problema kasi, over some time, hindi na makakakita yung mga tao ng pertussis, hindi na nalilig yung tasperina. Kasi nagbabakuna tayo.
Yes.
And then lalabas dyan sa social media, bawal, huwag kayo magpabakuna, ma-autism kayo and everything. And then eventually, biglang tataas yung cases ng pertussis because konti lang yung nagpabakuna. So it's very important ma-increase yung tinatawag na health literacy ng bawat Pilipino. And this is our problem. Karamihan ng Pilipino, nakikinig sa wrong information. They should get their sources correctly from the professional doctors, from sites of DOH, ng government. Kasi hindi naman natin gagawin yung masama para sa ating mga kababayan. Pag hindi kayo sure, verify. Ganun din kami mga doktor, we verify. Kami iba sources namin, scientific articles. Then yun ang tinatranslate namin to information sa tao. And then makinig kayo sa mga professional talaga, yung may degree, lisensyado na doktor. The correct information, and we thank you for this kasi ang media ang katulong namin dito. Yung tinatawag na health and risk communication. Ito, pag-uusapan natin, paano ba magkaroon ng sakit sa puso? O paano ba nagkakahawahan sa TB? Paano ba nagkaka-HIV? These are very important information dapat malaman natin. Kung alam natin yan, mapiprevent natin ang ating mga sarili na magkaroon ng mga sakit na ito.
Dahil may mga preventable diseases naman talaga. Okay, meron po tinatawag na Global Fund, tama ba yan? Para i-address or para matalo natin ang HIV, yung TB, malaria. Paano po pinangangasiwaan ng DOH ang pondong ito?
Ang Global Fund tumutulong sa atin both in TB and HIV. So yung dalawang sakit na yun. So sila, ang ginagawa niyan, they help us. For HIV, tinitulungan tayo with funds to manage the treatment of HIV through the 95-95-95 campaign. Ito yung diagnose 95% of people who have suspected HIV. Make sure 95% that are positive from HIV are on ARV or treatment, yung antiretroviral treatment. And 95% of those na antiretroviral ay may mababang viral load or hindi nakakahawa. So today, ang HIV, hindi na dapat siya nakakamatay. You should live a normal life as long as the medicine is being given. So we've converted it to a chronic illness. Hindi na dapat matakot. Unfortunately, maraming hindi nakaka-avail ng testing, maraming hindi nakaka-avail ng ARV treatment, maraming hindi nakaka-avail ng ang tawag dito, yung viral load testing. So very important na malaman nila yan. Ganun din dun sa ibang mga sakit. Very important na ma-educate nila natin yung mga tao on all these things.
Opo, yung mga may HIV, patuloy pa yung stigma o yung takot ng tao sa kanila? Do they still need to be anonymous? Di ba dati may mga ganyan po?
The way I think about it is the lack of information is the one that stigmatizes mga disease. The more information and the more open you are na mapag-usapan itong mga sakit na to, the more it is going to be prevented. So very important yan na nalalaman nila what to do pag nagsususpect sila na they might be having signs and symptoms of HIV, kung saan magpapatest, kung saan kukuha ng gamot and everything. So available naman yung medicines.
Okay. Nabanggit nyo kanina yung tungkol sa sinabi ng Pangulo na i-address din po yung rising cases of teenage pregnancies. What is the DOH doing about this?
Okay. So number one, binago ko na yung pangalan. Hindi ko na siya tinatawag na teenage pregnancy.
Ano na
Ang
siya?
tawag ko sa kanya, childhood pregnancy. Bakit? The lowest age we have is 10 years old.
Oh my.
Pregnant. And ang medical definition of a child is anyone below 18. So when you call it a childhood pregnancy, should the child be pregnant?
No.
Exactly. So if a child becomes pregnant, that's child abuse. So my perspective now, ang perspective ko, perspektibo ko, binago ko na, ninanakaw mo yung teenage life ng isang bata when you make them a mother. Imagine a teenager, an adolescent, a child will still have breasts that are that of a child. They're not even
They haven't
developed.
been developed
They haven't
yet.
been
Yeah.
developed. They haven't matured to the level
Yes.
that they will reach at about 18 or 21. Yung tinatawag namin stage 1, stage 2, stage 4,
yes.
breast development, and they're already pregnant and they're already a mother. So I'm more aggressive dito sa approach. Yung ating mga child pregnancies, yan ang nagko-contribute sa mataas na maternal mortality or women dying in pregnancy. Ina-address namin yan. I'm going down. In fact, I've spoken with our Secretary of Education, si Vice President Sara, about this para magkaroon kami ng alignment para maturuan talaga yung mga kids about the fact masyado silang curious.
Okay. Meron bang, again, may mga nagsasabi na itong nangyaring COVID pandemic is just a precursor of another pandemic that's in the horizon. Meron ba kayong scientific-based studies na either debunking that or preparing for that?
That's true. We're actually preparing for that. We now call it the disease X. So we say the viruses will always mutate. At saka yung mga bacteria, microbes, meron na kaming project na tinatawag na One Health. Kasi all the new diseases, itong nakaraan, all the new diseases that came out, whether COVID, SARS, MERS-CoV, lahat sila nanggaling sa hayop. So they were all zoonotic diseases. So ang sinasabi namin, dapat magkaroon na tinatawag na One Health. The One Health approach is yung mga veterinaryo, mga doktor, nagtutulong-tulong to watch out for the next disease X or the next virus that will mutate and jump from the animal kingdom to the human to the human race.
Opo.
So talagang dapat nagpe-prepare, and that's what we're doing. Globally, merong tinatawag na pandemic treaty na the World Health Assembly. So there's been talk to have a treaty called the Pandemic Treaty. May ibang countries parang ayaw nun kasi sabi nila naapektuhan ang soberenya nila when you have cooperation and telling you what to do. But to us, sa Philippines, when we analyze it, nakita natin kung gaano tayo pinaluhod ng COVID-19, a new disease. Our health system wasn't ready. We had to suffer economically because of that. Diba? Nag-lockdown tayo, quarantine. So we don't want the next pandemic to be the same effect.
Can we
want
say
to be ready.
we're more prepared for
We're
the
more
next
prepared.
pandemic?
Definitely, we're more prepared. My job is to strengthen the health system of the Philippines. Because if your health system is weak, kahit ano pang preparation ang gawin mo, luluhod ka. 7. Ang ginawa ko sa kanila, I authorize them to build in the community para mapalapit. Kaysa magta-travel pa to the regional hospital, mag-build tayo sa community. And we built the first 2. Yung bukas center namin sa Santo Tomas, Pampanga, 4th class municipality. Ang hospital, JB Linggan, nasa San Fernando. So very important, nila nabibuild yung hospital doon sa community. Nung inopen namin siya, immediately mga 200 patients a day ang nasuserve. Hindi na sila pipila doon sa malaking ospital para lang magpa-x-ray, magpa-blood test, magpa-urinalysis. Doon na, and it's in the community.
So we need smaller hospitals.
So I'm building this bukas center. So ang target ko dito, 28 of these centers to be built for the poorest 28 million Filipinos by 2028. So it's a small project. Ang tawag ko dyan, yan yung link between the local health system na pinatatakbo ni Mayor at yung health system na pinatatakbo namin up to the region or the province. So pinagko-connect ko yung dalawa.
Pero libre po ba yan? Dito
Kaya
sa
ito
mga
libre,
center
talagay
mo?
natin doon sa mga bukas center para sa ating mga mahihirap na kababayan. Diba? 28 bukas centers for the poorest 28 million Filipinos by 2028.
Yes po. Okay. You once said that the best place to have unity is in healthcare. Pasasagot ko sa inyo yun maya-mayang konti lamang. Kaya huwag kayong aalis, magbabalik ang In Person.
Happy World AIDS Day!
Ang lungsod ng Lucena nga ay nakikisa sa inyo para ating tuluyang i-eradicate sa pamamagitan ng mga seal na mapamamaraan at hindi sa pamamagitan ng takot.
Kailangan magtulungan po tayo to educate our communities about risky sexual behaviors at paano maprotektahan ang sarili from HIV and AIDS.
So sama-sama po tayo sa Healthy Calabarzon para po sa isang Healthy Pilipinas. Atin pong pangalagaan ang ating sexual na kalusugan sa bawat isa dahil bawat buhay mahalaga.
Ngayon po ay mabilis na tayong nakakapag-issue ng mga results para sa atin pong mga high-risk patients at sa atin pong mga HIV at persons living with HIV.
Sa community natin makikita, mararamdaman yung inclusivity, yung pagtanggap, and as well as yung power para po mapagtagumpayan ang sakit or ang stigma ng HIV.
Sinasabi nilang susuporta kami dito sa laban na to.
Magbigay suporta sa mga naapektuhan at manghimok ng awareness at pagtanggap.
So tayong lahat dito, sana po ay tuloy-tuloy lang po natin ang pagbigay ng tamang impormasyon sa ating mga kamag-anak at ating mga kababayan sa tamang paraan upang maiwasan ng HIV.
Quezon Province para sa
Healthy Pilipinas!
Trabaho ko po yun to make sure na ang public trust on our public doctors is maintained. So kung merong gumagawa niyan, patatanggal natin yan.
The Unity League Mobile Legends Bang Bang National Tournament is here. And we heard you. To accommodate more players, Unity League is now open to younger gamers. So if you are a Filipino citizen, age 15 years old and above, and have never joined in any professional league, assemble your team and join now!
Registration is still open for the National Capital Region, Southern Luzon, the Visayas, and Mindanao.
The Unity League Mobile Legends Bang Bang National Tournament.
Nagbabalik po ang In Person. Kasama pa rin natin si Secretary Ted Herbosa ng DOH. Okay, so Secretary, kanina nga po, paano nga ito? Unity in healthcare.
Sabi ko nga, the best place to have unity is really health. Kasi nga, whether you're whatever political color, you should be neutral in health. Kasi it's about life, di ba? It's about saving people's lives. So to me, it doesn't matter. So, matutulungan natin lahat ng Pilipino. Lahat tayo Pilipino.
Yes.
Lahat tayo may problema sa kalusugan. Lahat tayo pwede may solusyon sa problema natin. And that's the unity we should actually have.
Yes, opo. Okay, pagdating naman sa supply ng mga gamot, ano po yung ugnayan ng DOH sa mga big pharma companies or corporations?
Very, very important yan. At ngayon, pinag-uusapan yan sa social media. Matunog na matunog yung medyo corrupt practices of gifts being given by pharma companies to doctors. Bawal po yan. Tayo po ay signatory sa tinatawag na Mexico Principle. In fact, pag pumunta ka sa ating FDA website, nandoon yun. Nakalagay yung Mexico Principles wherein bawal tumanggap ng regalo sa mga korporasyon na nagmamanufacture ng mga gamot. So, reminder, nag-issue nga ako ng administrative order to remind all doctors na lalo na those working sa Department of Health Hospitals na ito ay bawal, lalo na sa pamahalaan, sa gobyerno. Ang magko-cover dito yung graft and corruption,
Yes.
the practices of a public official na tumatanggap ka ng regalo from someone supplying or where we will buy medicines. So kailangan mahinto ito. And I heard magkakaroon ng Senate investigation regarding this because meron ngang whistleblower na nagsabing nagre-regaluhan ng mga magagarang sasakyan at mamahaling mga relo sa mga prescriptions na binibigay.
Pero walang gumawa pa ng formal complaint sa inyong tanggapan.
Hinahanap ko nga kasi yung unang article na sabi nag-complain sa Department of Health at walang ginagawa, hinahanap ko, hindi ko makita. So kung yung whistleblower willing to come directly to me, my office is open, we will listen to him and we will do the necessary investigation. Trabaho ko po yun to make sure na ang public trust on our public doctors is maintained. So kung merong gumagawa niyan, patatanggal natin yan sa pamahalaan or papatanggal natin ang lisensya sa PRC kung meron talaga silang violations ng law, violations ng ethics.
Okay. Alam din natin lahat na paborito ng buong mundo ang mga Filipino healthcare workers, no? Yung mga nurse natin talagang ina-awardan at talagang love na love tayo dahil sa ating makalingang mga pangangalaga sa mga may sakit. Okay, having said that, paano nyo ina-address yung pong tinatawag na brain drain or yung pong care drain ng ating mga nurses na nauubos na po yung nurses natin sa...
Magandang kwento yan kasi nung umupo ako as secretary, pumunta sa akin yung isang ambassador, hindi ko nasasabihin yung country. Sabi niya ganyan sa akin, nanghihingi siya ng Filipino nurses. Sabi ko, ba't di nyo nalang padala yung mga batang citizens nyo mag-aral ng nursing sa Pilipinas kasi English naman ang medium of instruction, English ang salita sa bansa nyo. Sabi niya gano'n, hindi ko kailangan ng nurse na galing sa bansa namin. Gusto ko yung Filipina nurses. Specific yun. And I think it's our innate nature to be caring. And our women are talagang mapag-aruga at may malasakit talaga when they care. So, ramdam nila yun that we get. So, my idea there is, bakit ko hihintuin yung isang... Kasi it's a product. Let's say kung tayo isang bansa gumagawa ng kotse na lahat ng bansa gustong bilhin. Ano bang dapat kong gawin? Increase production, di ba? So to me, it's a good thing that we are supplying the world and taking care of all the hospitals around the world with our best nurses. So my trust should be to produce more competent, world-class nurses and be able to supply them. Magaganda naman ang buhay nila doon, di ba? Or the other option is find ways to make them stay.
Yes.
So
Are we doing that?
So yun yung mga solutions na pinuput forward ko. So kinausap ko na Andy Sud. I said, I want to build housing for my nurses. If you're working in government, I should be able to provide housing through Pag-ibig and be able to buy your own home. So number one yun, yung housing. Number two, yung healthcare. Malapit na yun kasi yung DBM malapit na mag-release na pwede na rin kumuha ng private insurance aside from PhilHealth para sa healthcare ng iyong sarili at pamilya mo. So malaking tulong yon. And the third, nag-iisip pa ako na ba't ko hindi na lang sila bili ng kotse o sasakyan? Kasi pag may bahay ka, may sasakyan ka, may healthcare ka, kung minsan hindi na importante yung mataas na sweldo. Yung mataas na sweldo will take care of it. Ang sweldo namin sa government, medyo competitive na. And marami sa kanila nag-i-stay na at nag-work na, nag-aasawa na dito. Pero of course, merong iba, wala kasing ties dito, aalis talaga.
Yes.
So, the other thing I discovered when I went to Singapore, tinatanong ko yung mga nurses doon, ba't pa kayo nag-stay dito?
Yes.
Sabi, well, aside from the sweldo, minentor sila, tinuruan sila, binigyan sila ng courses, and I plan to do that as well. To help our nurses have in the career path, mag-elevate sila, magka-master sila, magka-PhD sila, magkaroon sila ng certification sa all other specializations. Gumagawa ang WHO ng Code of Ethics ng pag-hire ng mga human resources, healthcare workers from different countries. Code of Ethics, sabi ko, pag Code of Ethics, merong unethical at ethical. Sabi ko, we should look at it from a big picture. How much does the world need? How much can I supply? How much will, if you take too much from me, anong pwede mo itulong sa akin? So I will ask other countries, in return, pag kinunan mo ako ng nurse, nag-invest ako dyan ng basic education, secondary education, college education, ibalik mo sa akin. Let me be able to educate another young Filipino so that I can replace that with the proper number. And many of them are acceptable. So yung Austria ngayon, nag-uumpisa na kami mag-sign ng government-to-government agreement na ganun ang parang papalitan niya.
Yes.
Every time they take a nurse, they will help give me a scholarship for a young Filipino na makapa-educate and develop them their nursing education also, or doctor or whatever. So everybody happy. So the solution is a win-win situation. In the big picture, sabi nga ni Presidente sa akin, alam mo, Secretary Boss, every time I travel abroad, yung mga heads of state lalapit sa akin, we want Filipino nurses.
Wow.
Ganun kalakas ang demand ng ating nurses. And we should be happy. We shouldn't be sad. Ibig sabihin nun, magagaling ang nurses. Pag na-hospital ka, ang nurse na mag-aalaga sa'yo, world class.
Pero ang malungkot dyan, may mga, well, I don't know if this was just during the pandemic or even after that, no, right after, na may mga floor ang ibang private hospitals na nagsara because kulang na daw po yung nurses natin. Sa private hospital po ito, ha? Ano bang mas may magandang salary?
Okay, so
private po ba o public hospital?
The reason that is mataas ang salary grades natin sa public.
Yes.
So ang nangyayari, nagkakaroon ng dalawang migration yan. From private sector, magmamigrate sila sa public. From public, pag di pa sila happy, mag-abroad sila. And nangyari din talaga yun, nagpa-pirate yung ibang countries. Nung after the COVID, lahat sila nag-build ng mas maraming hospital, mas maraming ICU. Saan sila kukuha ng nurse? Philippines. They actually go. So yun ang kailangan natin makorek. Yan naman mag-stabilize, Angelique. I've been a doctor for 40 years and I've seen the cycle. Tataas yan, dadami yung output, tapos biglang magkakaglat tayo ng
nangyari
nurses.
na yan, di ba?
Madaming beses na yan. Every 7-year cycle nga yung tingin ko dun . So mangyayari din yan. Puproduce tayo maraming nurses, tapos magkakaglat tayo kasi hihinto yung ibang bansa mag-hire ng nurse. Or makakaproduce na sila ng sarili nilang nurses. Makita nila, masarap pala yung trabaho dun sa nursing. So ako, more forward-looking, let's take care of our nurses. Number 7 yan sa aking 8-point action agenda. Karapatan at kapakanan ng ating mga healthcare workers. So if I take care of the nurses, they'll probably stay here and
I think they would rather stay here.
Of course.
Kasi
There's
nandito
no place
pong
like
pamilya, di ba? In the meantime, yung pong mga bagong graduates, wala po ba tayong mga, ano nga ba to, parang requirement that they should serve in rural
doon sa state universities and colleges.
Or
all
rural
those
hospitals.
Correct. So doctors, nurses, and all the white coat, tinatawag namin white coat degrees. Yung mga medtech, radtech, doctor, nurses, midwives. Meron, pag ikaw ay nag-aral sa state university and college na free ang tuition, may return service agreement. So sa UP, meron kaming return service.
So we're still doing that po.
We're still doing that. At sila yung nagdi-deploy. And many of them stay. Many of them stay in government and are happy with the deployment. In fact, many of them become public health nurses. Nag-stay na sila dun sa mga community. Kasi masarap maging nurse in a rural community kasi hindi ganun kahirap yung trabaho as in an ICU or in a big hospital. Hindi, trabahong kalabaw dun . Dun sa health center, parang mas simple ang buhay. Tapos, simple lang yung mga problem, nasa-solve nila. As nurses, they feel more valued. So many are staying also in as rural health nurses.
Ako, sumasarap po ang kwentuhan. Konti na lamang at magbabalik po tayo dito sa ating programang In Person.
Junk food o pinggang Pinoy? Pinggang Pinoy! Pababayaan walang bakuna o papabakunahan? Papabakunahan! Para katawan ay laging win, healthy habits ang sundin.
At matulungan ang mga Pilipino maging one of the healthiest Philippine countries in the Asia.
Susunod sa On Assignment. Sa init ng panahon, paano mapoprotektahan ang sarili sa iba't ibang sakit na naglalabasan? Ang mga paraan na ito, aalamin ni Vel Custodio.
May cases kami na may mga batang nagka-sore eyes. Dala ng init. Tapos nagkaroon ng mga skin irritation yung aming mga estudyante.
Tanggap ba ng mga motorista ang pagtaas ng multa sa mga kaso ng illegal parking? Ang Pulso ng Bayan, hatid sa atin ni Bernard Ferrer.
Minsan kasi mayroong hinihintay ko yung pasahero. Sabi, saglit lang, kaso lang inabutan na ng manghuli.
At ang rehabilitation ng Arroceros Forest Park sa Maynila, sisilipin ni Bien Manalo.
Itong 2.2 hectares na kinakatayuan natin ngayon ay madagdagan pa at mapaganda ang mga nakapaloob ng mga facilities.
Ngayong Lunes, alas 8 ng gabi, dito lang sa inyong People's Television.
At nagbabalik po tayo para sa huling bahagi na po ng ating programang In Person with Secretary Ted Herbosa ng DOH. So kanina po nabanggit natin, off the air nagkukwentuhan tayo na we continue to produce, or at least ang daming nag-aaral ng mga gustong mag-doktor, gustong mag-nurse. Sila ba ay ating na-absorb dito or do they eventually end up doing something else?
Iba-iba, no? Merong mga, sa medicine, marami ng doktor nag-stay. Many of our graduate doctors, about 3,000, 4,000, pass the Professional Regulation Commission board exam medicine every year. And usually yan, nagre-residency or specialization dito. Some of them would go abroad for a fellowship or specialty training, pero bumabalik din yan. So marami ng doctors willing to practice here. Kasi, alam mo, malaki sweldo mo abroad, pero malaki din ang gastos mo eh. So, nurses, talagang malaki yung difference. Kaya marami pa rin ang attraction for many of our nurses to actually go abroad. PT also, yung medtech also, ganun. Kasi yung salaries niyan, hindi pa nagmamatch. So, yan dapat yung mga sumunod na mga professions that we do. But we're building health systems. We're building many modern hospitals, Philippine Cancer Center, heart centers in Clark, and everywhere in the Philippines, we're building all these centers. Ano yan, tataas din ang salaries ng mga nurses natin.
Will there ever be a time that we can say na ang mga Pilipino po ang pinakamalusog or the healthiest, maybe even just here in Southeast Asia?
That's the goal, no? That we are one of the healthiest people of ASEAN region, of the ASEAN region. Our health indices, right now we're a middle income country, but our TB rates are high, our HIV rates are high, our maternal mortality is high, our road injury and deaths are high. So our indices for health are that of a low income, parang comparable nga to an African country. So I would like to match our economic riches kasi yung GDP natin, 6%, 7% every year for the past several years. And I do hope with the work we're doing here at the Department of Health, we really come up level. Tuwa ako sa latest survey. Sabi, number 2 best performing kami, number 2 most trusted. So I guess we're doing something right. I'm pushing all the hospitals of DOH to continue to promote health at matulungan ang mga Pilipino maging one of the healthiest Philippine countries in the Asia.
At bilang pinuno po ng DOH, ano pa po yung inyong pangarap para sa ating mga Pilipino?
Well, ang pangarap talaga ay magkaroon tayo ng mahabang life expectancy to live longer without any problems in health. At yung kung meron man, hindi sila mamulubi at available ang ating health resources para sila ay arugain at alagaan.
And finally, your message to all the Filipino health workers po here in the Philippines and maybe those abroad and of course ating mga Pilipino.
Welcome din yung mga nakapagtrabaho na abroad. Hinihintay namin kayo sa Pilipinas na bumalik at tumulong dito sa aming health strengthening DOH Modernization for Health Equity. Yan ang programa ko. Pinalalawak natin na ang mahihirap, mayayaman magkaroon ng better access to healthcare at gumanda ang lives ng lahat ng Pilipino.
Okay, Secretary Ted Herbosa, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras para sa ating
Maraming salamat, Angelique, and thank you very much for the opportunity to discuss kalusugan ng Pilipinas.
And all the best to you po and better health for all of us. Salamat!
For all of us. Salamat. Maraming salamat po.
Ang kalusugan ay buhay. Hangarin ng Department of Health sa pamumuno ni Dr. Teodoro Ted Herbosa na maipaabot sa bawat Pilipino ang mas pinalawak na serbisyong medikal ng ahensya sa anumang sulok ng bansa at mapanatiling ligtas sa anumang karamdaman ang bawat mamamayang Pilipino. Sa bagong Pilipinas, bawat buhay ay mahalaga. At yan ang tunay na mukha sa likod ng mga balita at mga isyong pinag-uusapan. Matapang na humarap at nagpakilala. Ako po si Angelique Lazo at ito ang in-person.